My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
I will never tire of Jasmine Paolini's enthusiasm for being an actress or a part of our introduction. I don't know how to describe her role, but it's fundamental. Also fundamental today is having Fergus and Mario with me to help look forward to some matches in Acapulco, Mérida, and Austin. And one of the reasons I'm looking forward, and they are fundamental, is because I haven't seen a huge amount of tennis this week. And I think some of the matchups are very unfamiliar for me and maybe lots of our audience too. Before we get into the previews, though, I want to come to the review of the ATP Dubai final. And that review is going to be pretty short-lived in terms of the tennis because there was no tennis. Fergus, what's your initial reaction to the news that, well, Griekspoor withdrew through injury?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of saw this coming. Well, I mean, he looked like practically didn't move for the semi-final yesterday, and Rublev will be almost kicking himself that he didn't grasp this opportunity with two hands. But Griekspoor, it's like there are certain matches that stick in the memory where you know that it's an unbelievable effort from the player in that moment, but in the next 24 hours, there is no chance they'll be back on court to do it again. The Fils versus Munar match comes to mind at Roland Garros, where Fils put like a marathon effort together and then was obviously not going to play in the next round. And this was kind of the same. Felt like Griekspoor said in his post-match interview, you know, I was probably going to retire if I lost the first set. So feels as though Medvedev's just gained another title. And of course, it's only Medvedev that could possibly have this record of not winning two titles in the same place and then finally gets it when someone hands it to him on a silver platter.
Not the way he wanted to win it, as he said in a post or publicly here. Did they do a trophy presentation, by the way?
Yeah, they did.
Because I've just gone on social media and I've just seen Daniil Medvedev lifting the trophy with no one in, or barely anyone in the crowd. Now that is surreal.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I remember Cincinnati 2020, the WTA tournament. I think it was a similar thing. No, not just with an audience, but Osaka withdrew before the final, and Lazarenka still having a trophy presentation in that moment.
Okay.
But yeah, there was no spectators anyway, even if the final were to be played. But
I guess it's like the kind of thing where they have to, like, you know, thank sponsors, you know, ball kids, you know, all that sort of stuff. Even like the whole tournament like comes together, even if there was, you know, no final, and they you know, it's the photos for social media of Medvedev holding the trophy, right? So even though they probably could have used them from 23. Because his haircut looks like he's like, it's like,
well, that's what I was wondering. I wasn't even sure. I mean, tennis outfits as well get reprised and similar, especially at same tournaments. I wasn't even sure if this was from a couple of years ago, because Mario, of course, he has now won 2 tournaments in the same place, right?
Yeah, I mean, not really great storyline for me, you know, meaning that, you know, considering that how much Medvedev has achieved in his career, you know, Dubai is for him like only, let's say, a 500. So, you know, it's not that big of a thing, but yeah, for sure nice, because probably, I don't know, it sticks in your head a little bit that you never won something again after you did it for the first time. But I think the best thing for him is that this week, I think this was one of his best weeks of the last, let's say, 3 years, more or less, because, I mean, he really looked like unstoppable in the 4 matches that he played.
Okay.
And won, and especially yesterday, because against such a tough opponent like Auger-Aliassime, like winning that way so comfortably, so convincingly, I think that's the biggest news for him. And I don't know, especially because, I mean, he had already won a title this year in Brisbane, but then he had, a couple bad losses, especially the Australian Open, where he did okay because he reached the second week, but that loss against Tien was pretty tough for somebody like him, winning only 7 games in the whole match. So I think that that title in Brisbane wasn't really enough for him this week. Yeah, he hasn't won the final, he hasn't played the final, but the 4 matches he played, I think he really was one of the most convincing versions of himself of the last years, because really, won all the 4 matches really in really good fashion, especially yesterday against a top 10 player like Auger-Aliassime. So I think he can really, really be happy about this week, regardless of, not having played the final. So, but I mean, great signs for him. We'll see in the next tournaments.
The hamstring injury for Griekspoor, Fergus, how serious do we think it is in terms of his participation for Indian Wells, which will be getting underway for him in about 5 or 6 days, potentially?
Yeah, it's a lot easier for him now, assuming that he probably won't play till Friday at the very earliest.
Right, okay.
And yeah, so most likely he'll play on Saturday if he does play. Gives him, it gives him a week, bang on, to get to Indian Wells, see how he plays. If he gets,
he played through the second set yesterday. Sorry to interrupt you, folks, but I'm now just curious to the extent of it. I mean, if he's pulled a muscle, he's going to be out of action between 1 and 6 weeks, depending on the severity of the pull. I'm guessing it's not a extremely severe pull or tear, because he wouldn't have been able to complete the match. Or he might have just had a very tight hamstring that he could just about play through a second set, but it was therefore not just a precaution, but also basically if you then do one sprint, you then pull it and potentially tear it. So that's where I guess we're at. So I think a lot of massaging and a lot of taking care and probably not a lot of time on the practice court. And yeah, if that's where he's at, which is what I'm guessing, he'll probably be okay for Friday. But again, he'll probably travel and just see. Even the flight might disrupt the situation a little bit and make it worse. But I guess he just won't know until he gets back on the practice court, which will probably happen on Thursday if he then does play Friday, for example.
Yeah, it's interesting because if he'd really torn it, as in like it was gone, he wouldn't be able to walk, so he wouldn't have...
he wouldn't have been able to complete the match yesterday either.
No way.
I mean, you just can't.
Because he played pretty much an entire set without fully, chasing down tennis balls. And this isn't like... I was talking to Brenner yesterday and I was comparing it to Medvedev-Tsitsipas last year in Doha, where Medvedev, pretty sure he tore his hamstring stretching for a ball and then just kind of bashed his way through the last 3 games and the tiebreak and won. It's not like that. Griekspoor was he was able to move, but just not well at all. And yeah, for me, I think he'll be fine. He will probably play Indian Wells, but we'll see what his movement's like in his first match. Obviously, the draw. I think the draw takes place tomorrow.
I think it's on Monday or Tuesday, mid-afternoon local time. Mary, do you know?
No, I think so. I'm pretty sure
I read somewhere 2 or 3 o'clock 2 or 3 o'clock local time, and it's going to be on Tennis TV as well. That's or the Tennis Channel, maybe the Tennis Channel. But it's Monday or Tuesday, certainly not tomorrow.
Okay.
Mario, I've also mentioned before we went live that 1 or 2 tennis players have been tweeting their flight paths because of what's the word? Some military operations and some retaliations. So a bit of a surreal day. Bublik is someone who posted his flight path, for example, just saying that I think he's avoiding Iranian airspace. As of course, a lot of the players right now are doing one of the probably longest flights. I know they go to Australia, but often they'll stop in Asia on the way and blah, blah, blah. But I was just thinking as I was watching some of the players this week playing in Dubai that are then having to go to LA. What do you think about the 3 options that basically professional tennis players have at the moment of playing Dubai, Acapulco, or the Golden Swing, or at least the third leg of the Golden Swing in the form of Santiago? Do you think it has a big effect on how they perform in Indian Wells?
I don't know. Considering, those players have the round 1 bye in Indian Wells, so I don't know. I mean, for me, the best option possible if I were a player would have been like going to Buenos Aires, Rio, and then maybe not Santiago, but yes, to Acapulco, probably doing something similar to play, the most important tournaments. But,
I get it, Mario. The only thing is, if you, Mario, are winning Buenos Aires and Rio, I think you might skip Acapulco, right?
Yeah, of course. But I don't know. It's tough to say before.
If you go out in qualies, then maybe you're fine to do. You're fine.
Anyway, for sure, I think it's tough, of course, to I don't know, play the final, let's say, or win in Dubai and then going to Indian Wells. It's not that easy. Of course, players are kind of used to that. Daniil, for example, in 23 won in Dubai and then reached the final in Indian Wells without big issues. So because of course Indian Wells being a 2 weeks tournament gives the top players a chance to to, let's say, rest a little bit if they played in Dubai until like the weekend. So I don't know. It's tough to say because then it also depends on how your body reacts. But yeah, for sure, this situation that is happening right now adds a little trouble to the players because usually it would be all fine and like always, and right now they have to invent something else in order to fly from a place to another. So I mean, I don't know. It's really tough. Fortunately, I've never found myself in a similar situation.
All right, let's into. Go on, Fergus.
There are 2 players that have done Buenos Aires, Rio, and then Acapulco. So Altmaier and Zuma both did.
Did they? Okay.
Buenos Aires, Rio, and then Acapulco. Both of them lost first round though.
Yeah, I knew Altmaier had a. Who did he lose to? Because there was a storyline behind it.
Fokina.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He lost to Fokina. Okay. There was maybe another storyline with Altmaier I saw recently. I think it was actually a different tournament. But David Fokina, of course, will be kicking himself, won't he, Mario? Because this seemed like this tournament was opening up for him in Acapulco.
Yeah, I mean, Acapulco, a tournament where there has been, more or less a chance for everybody, considering the top seeds haven't.
I mean, Mario, just off the top of my head, 2022, we had Cam Norrie, Daniil Medvedev, Rafa Nadal, and probably a load of other players that I'm forgetting there. Maybe I'm just trying to think of who Rafa beat that year. But basically, it was not stacked, but it was, let's say, heavily stacked compared to this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like it was, I don't know, more or less similar compared to Dubai. I don't think there was a big difference. But yeah, considering...
Any tournament that lacks Sinner and Alcaraz at the moment feels a bit light, though, right?
Yeah, true. Even though in some way it can also be better.
Of course. If you have just one of them in particular, then it's really...
I'm sorry, but I'm just a little bit tired.
Yeah, I understand.
So I mean, I was enjoying this week of tennis, and I still am. And actually, two players who have not looked great this year are facing each other for the title in Acapulco, because Cobolli and Tiafoe actually both kind of looked like a shadow of themselves in the first part of the year, let's say the first tournament. So it was a little bit unexpected to see them. Of course, they are great players, so it's not like completely unexpected. But in some way, it wasn't that easy to imagine them winning these matches and playing the final. They also had their troubles because, I mean, even though there, weren't huge names, but, beating, Kecmanovic always played well in these tournaments, Derry Beach, Acapulco. So it's not that easy. Tiafoe, of course, Nakashima, we know that it's a tough player, and, it can always trouble you with his consistency, his, ability to really put yourself under pressure, especially on the backhand side. So, for both had great wins this week, sorry. And so I don't know. I think, it was about who was able to use the opportunity the right way, and Cobolli and Tiafoe kind of managed to redeem themselves from the tough start of the year they have, and now both can play for a big thing, winning a 500. Tiafoe.
Has Cobolli won a title on a hard court before, Mario?
No.
No.
So.
He Washington final.
Yeah.
No, it would be the first time, I think. And yeah, also reaching the best ranking for Cobolli would be top 15.
Tiafoe really?
Tiafoe being back in the top 20 if he wins, this final. So for both, it's a great thing,
Fergus, you were going to say something?
Just like, I think more Cobolli than Tiafoe. I've seen Tiafoe play this year, and I think that he's had a few tough losses, especially in Dallas. He actually wasn't playing that badly, but just kind of came out on the wrong end. And then kind of the same in Delray. But Cobolli has literally clicked his fingers and turned his form around. The guy's lost to players outside the top 150 twice this year.
Okay.
But in 50 minutes.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and we're not talking it was a battle. I'm talking these guys were rolling past him. So he's really really clicked his fingers and turned his form around. And this is the kind of week that he needed, I guess. The draw really opens up, and De Minaur goes out round one, who is a two-time champion here in Acapulco, and then you immediately think, right, Zverev, and then the draw slowly becomes very, very open when Davidovich Fokina goes out. So
yeah.
Oh, Zverev lost. Look at this. This shows you how much I know about what's been going on in Mexico this week. Zverev lost to Kecmanovic in 3 crazy sets. I didn't know that.
De Minaur for the second time in a row, actually. He won twice in Acapulco, 23 and 24. 22 and 23. I don't remember.
No,
he won
23,
24
24.
in a row, and then
24.
lost twice in a row in the opening round.
Got it. Yeah, so last year and this year as well for De Minaur. Yeah, so De Minaur and Zverev going out is what really blew the draw up in so many ways. And now we're going to have Frances Tiafoe, by the way. I don't know whether this run is a bit, deceptive, a little bit of a trick, because I think Borges is a tough first round, so that's a good win. And Nakashima, Nakashima will win titles on a hard court, I think. But I do also think that, I think Nakashima's ceiling is probably 20 to 30 in the world. He's been on tour long enough to suggest otherwise, I would suggest.
Yeah,
so
sure.
It's not a bad draw for Tiafoe, is what I'm saying.
It's a match Tiafoe can lose. And, that's what I am analyzing. Of course, the draw, has been okay, let's say. Of course, tough opponents, but, it's still a 500 tournament. So, but yeah, still some of these matches, I could see Tiafoe losing, and I'm impressed in some way in the way he approached this week, and managed also to play well in some important moments, because if you see both matches against Kovacevic, and Nakashima, there were really great tiebreaks where he managed to, Nakashima served for the match in this semifinal.
Okay.
And obviously he saved 2 match points versus Kovacevic in round of 16. So these are all players that can 100% beat Tiafoe on their day, but it's like it shows the, how interchangeable the, 20 to 50 to 60 mark. Even, I mean, Bellucci's somehow ranked 94, which, I don't know how that happened, but
he just needs to get on the clay.
Yeah. I mean, the guy can definitely play. Like he's
Am I being harsh? Am I being harsh?
Yes,
Mario was saying
I
that.
I think you're being slightly harsh.
No, it's that I'm not sure it's the clay, actually.
Okay, so you thought maybe I'm being generous. Okay.
No, meaning that I actually think, it's probably something on the hard courts where he managed to get those few. For example, last year, I mean, it's not in the ranking anymore, but I remember last year it was in Rotterdam when he basically,
True.
And actually, even in the challenger tournaments, he's one of the very few Italians who actually even hasn't played that much in Italy, but more on the hard courts in other continents. So
what about Cobolli, by the way, on the hard courts, Mario? Because I think I think it's fair to say that the clay is his best surface. So him being in this 500 final is something for his CV for sure.
No, yeah, for sure. But it's not the first time, because it was in Washington in the final there as well. So I mean, I don't want to say familiar territory, but it's not the first time. So, I mean, he showed that he can have also, something to say on the surface, playing with kind of quick tennis. For me, about Cobolli, it's more, it also depends on his approach. He's also his physical, let's say, physical form, because he's a player who relies a lot on, being quick and being, also ready to counter punch at times. So, tell me.
I've got some breaking news regarding Griekspoor. It looks like he is going to be out of Indian Wells.
Wow.
Because of this hamstring injury, obviously being a bit worse than we suspected. So at least he said the coming weeks, which of course suggests no Indian Wells. Sorry, Mario, continue.
No, that was basically
right.
it.
All right, let's go for a prediction then. I'm going to go for Tiafoe in 3 sets.
Cobolli in 2.
Oh, okay. Maybe this is Fergus who's seen more tennis in Acapulco than me this week. Mario, go and give us a winner.
Tiafoe in straight.
Tiafoe in straight. Oh, we've got
3
different.
We have 3 different. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, 3 very different answers. All right, great. Well, let's see how that one pans out. Okay, let's move over to the women, because obviously we've done now sort of Dubai reflections on what
we have Santiago as well. But okay.
Oh, of course, Santiago. How can I forget I actually lived in Santiago for 6 months. And
it's actually a nice lineup, because, it's like the Buenos Aires lineup. So Cerundolo, Darderi, and Baez, and not Echeverry, but there's Hanfman, who's great in altitude. So... so it's interesting.
Hanfman looked like he was gonna throw up so bad during his quarterfinal. Yeah, he was holding back, throwing up during his quarterfinal, and then I think he fired down an ace down at tee or something like that. Like he's been playing he's really good in altitude. Yeah, I remember watching him I remember just because I haven't watched a lot of Hanfman in the last 3 years, but something sticks Hanfman versus Murray in Geneva for some reason, and I remember he played like unreal. So yeah,
his one win against Fran came in Hamburg, but that was via retirement for Fran in the 3rd set. All the other matches have gone Fran's way, and they've all their 5 encounters, by the way, have all been on clay. So this is now a 6th one on clay.
Yes, it's Santiago last year, 7-6 in the 3rd.
Yeah.
It was a deciding set tie, that one.
Yeah, very, very close, round of 16. But Fran is the one with the pedigree. In fact,
Yeah.
you know, the three of the four semi-finalists are possibly on their day top 10 players in the world on this surface of clay, with Darderi and Baez. Maybe that's a slight no, I don't know. I think Baez is on his day one of the top 10 players in the world on clay. That's fair, right?
I don't know. It's tough to say, but I mean, it's.
I mean, on his day, you could apply to anyone.
It's as good as possibly. I mean, I think, you know, out of these four players, I have no doubt about who is the most dangerous one in his day, let's say. And actually, you know,
Fran, yeah, Fran.
Yeah, I think so, and also considering other surfaces as well.
Oh, for sure.
You know, he's the one who, you know, has shown to have so far the, you know, the higher ceiling and, you know, the biggest weapon in order to trouble the top players as well in some days and some circumstances. But anyway, I mean, it doesn't matter right now because as we have learned especially in altitude clay like Santiago, a tournament which has always been a little bit weird, let's say, anything can happen because, you know, players can serve a little bit better than usual, and so it's tough to me for me a little bit to really predict how this can go. I mean, Baez won this tournament before,
but Fran against Hanfman, I think we can predict, right?
Yeah, he's a favorite. Twice they have played in slams, and Fran has never dropped a set, meaning that in the two occasions where the result mattered the most, he didn't mess around. But as you know, we know that it's not that easy to play in a semi-final in any tournament with, let's say, the little pressure of having a chance to add another title to your let's say CV. So
I mean, what a swing it would be though for Fran if he was to win Santiago and Buenos Aires. That would be a really good, and he does well, I think, in Miami in particular. So
yeah, he does.
You know, good time of the year for him, and I think he's beating Hanfman, right, Fergus?
Yeah, I agree. Probably like it's going to be something like 6-3, 7-6 or something like that. It's going to be like there's going to be one set that's really tricky. But surrender low would be too good. Almost good that he not essentially had that week off, but, you know, had that, you know, tough loss in Rio.
Yeah,
reset
that may help him, especially going forward, then obviously getting on a plane and going off to North America. What about Baez and Darderi, Mario? I mean, they've got a 4-4 head-to-head, and this is particularly difficult to predict, given Baez's prowess, both on this surface, but also at this time of year during the Golden Swing. Darderi is someone I tipped to win the title in Buenos Aires, but didn't quite get over the line in terms of losing the final to Fran. So Baez as well, of course, with the incredible improvements that he showed on a hard court, and yet hasn't quite done as well in the Golden Swing until now this year as previous years.
Yeah, that's true. It's been weird, let's say, start of the year for Baez, meaning that he's been so great in Australia and not so great, let's say, in South America as maybe last year, 2 years ago. But anyway, I mean, in Buenos Aires, I was kind of expecting Darderi to win that match because he was looking way better in the tournament.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, Darderi has also played very well in Australia because, you know, the Australian Open, he was in round 4, which is a great result, only losing to Sinner. So, but right now, Santiago, it's a little bit different. We have seen Darderi having few, let's say, on and off in his matches.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can see Baez this time doing something more than in Buenos Aires because conditions are different, and you know, altitude is really altitude makes clay being a little less forgiving, meaning that you really need your timing to be perfect. If not, you can start missing a lot more. And, you know, for somebody who hits as hard as Darderi, who, as we saw, won the last 4 meetings twice this
last
year
3 meetings.
against
The last 3
Baez.
meetings, yeah.
Yeah, last 3 meetings, sorry. 2 this year against Baez. But
Yes.
I don't know. I think this tournament is a bit different. So I'm not sure about the prediction on this one.
It's so difficult to predict because the head-to-head is 4 each. I think both of them, as I say, having incredible peaks on this surface. I would lean towards the idea that Santiago at least is somewhere they haven't played before. So there is a slight difference there, and Santiago does play different to the other two parts of the Golden Swing. But then Darderi's recent form against him, they played each other 3 times in the last 7 or 8 months, twice on clay and once at a Grand Slam, and he's only dropped 1 set out of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, basically it's 7 sets to 1 over the last 8 sets between the two players. I think I'm going to go for Darderi 51-49. Yeah. What about you, Fergus?
Yeah, I'm going to go Darderi, mainly because I think that he's able to produce a bit more pop off the serve with the altitude. Baez known for not having that big serve. So I think Darderi just able to get a little bit more out of his service game and then attack Baez for sure. So I'll go Darderi in 3.
All right. Cool. Let's move over to the WTA side of things, and we'll look at Austin. It's a tournament that I was focusing on a little bit towards the beginning of the week when we had Venus Williams in action, Andreescu and Galfi as well. Tomljanovic beating Venus Williams there in straight sets in that opening round encounter, and Galfi coming through in 3 sets. But neither Galfi nor Tomljanovic have gone that deep because I'm trying to think, who did Tomljanovic lose to? Who'd she lose to?
Birel.
Oh, Birel, yeah, of course, who's in the semi-final that we're going to look towards right now. But let's have a quick look, first of all, at Aisling Kruger against Taylor Townsend. Let's go with Mario. Any thoughts on this encounter, these two players, their form, where they're at, etc.?
Yeah, 2 players who both can play way better than their ranking, let's say. Their current ranking. So I really think we can see, really close encounter between them. Townsend, we have seen her having great results in doubles, but even in singles, she showed that she can be a really, really dangerous player when she's in form. And Kruger, she dropped a lot in the ranking. She hasn't been in amazing form lately, but she is a player who can really, really do great. And we have seen, of course, this week, not dropping any set, but her career high ranking is also quite good. She was around 30. It's a bit tough, Townsend has, of course, wasted more energies, let's say, played really tough matches. But I don't know, there's something that makes me lean towards her for this semifinal, because I've always considered Townsend somebody who, of course, she has had a lot of physical issues, and she hasn't been able to really build a stable career at the very, very top in singles. But for me, she can really produce high quality tennis. And I think having come out some tough battles this week can be actually something positive in terms of, confidence and the way you can approach this match. If it goes, 3 sets, I think it's a good moment for her. She's well rested. She hasn't played for a couple weeks, and she managed to come here in really, really great form. So I think she can do something good.
Okay, cool. What are your thoughts, Fergus?
Well, I think no matter what for Townsend tomorrow, this is a big week for her in terms of just a milestone. This is her first singles semi-final of her career.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is a huge moment for her. I saw the match point for her quarterfinal. She looked pretty emotional afterwards. So this is a big week for her, and we know when Taylor gets going that she's quite hard to stop. In terms of how close was she to making. Was it quarters last year after she beat if she was to beat
Krejcikova? Yeah, maybe. And of course, I think she was really up in that match. Was she up a set and a break, maybe?
No, she had 9 match points.
Yeah,
9 match points. Yeah.
And yeah, it was a round 16 match, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, so she was playing unbelievably well in US last year, and she had those 9 match points versus Krejcikova. So I think I'll go Townsend in 3, mainly because I think her mental fortitude has come a long way when things are going her way. If she's on a roll and if she's down in a match, I feel like she finds a way to come through.
Yet those 9 match points are not a record.
Really? What's the record, Mario?
11.
4?
Mertens saved 11 match points against Alexandrova in Sertogenbosch on grass.
Oh, I remember that. I remember. Yeah.
It was a semi-final, and then Mertens won actually the tournament.
What was it? 24? 24?
No, last year.
Was it last year? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, record. I actually don't know the all-time record. I'm not sure about it. But last year, those 9 match points are not a record.
No.
All right, I'm going to go Kruger. I think the freshness, and also I've been a bit more impressed with the way she's got to the semis than Taylor, and maybe even Taylor anxiety at home on home territory might come into play as well, especially if it does go deep. Although Ashlin's obviously at home as well, but you mentioned obviously Taylor having never played a semi-final before. All right, the other semi-final is between Peyton Stearns and Kimberly Birrell. Now, they have played once before in Madrid, a match that I don't recall, but it was on clay. Of course, in Austin, it's going to be on a hard surface. Thoughts on this one, Mario?
It's tough. I was looking at how they did. I mean, Stearns is the player, who showed the highest ceiling so far. She really showed that she's also able to trouble the very best players, but at the same time, she can also play not so good at times. And she had few troubles reaching this stage, the match against Seletmeteva, which is also a very dangerous player, even though she's never reached some heights, but she's very dangerous.
Beat Badosa, didn't she, in Australia this year?
Yeah, indeed. And it was a very, very weird match, especially the deciding set. But yeah, I think Stearns is the player actually kind of the favorite to win this World Tournament, in my opinion.
Agree.
But it depends. I mean, I'm not so sure that she will be able to find the best version of herself in these matches. Of course, I believe she's the favorite tonight. Tonight, if we live in Europe, in Austin. But I can see Birrell doing something. Birrell is another player who, I don't know, the big crowd maybe doesn't know a lot about her, but she has experience. She knows how to deal with these kind of matches. And so, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, let's say, if she does something good today. Stearns is the favorite for this.
Great win over Tomljanovic, but for Birrell. But regarding Peyton Stearns, I was getting quite high on Peyton until Washington last year and that loss to Venus Williams. And I don't think she's been on my radar in a positive way, at least, since then. Every time I've seen her play in that match, I just thought she was really bad, or she just had a very bad day at the office. I don't even know if she was carrying an injury or something, but the amount of errors coming off her racket seemed to be inexplicable. Maybe the whole Venus thing and the crowd and everything else got to her that day. I don't know, but until then, I was really high on Peyton.
Yeah. Well, firstly, I just want to go over this. So the 11 match points is actually a joint record.
Oh, joint record, is it?
with a first round Roland Garros match in 2001 versus Gabaski and Tanasugan. That's awful pronunciation. But there was actually in a 125K a couple of years ago, Sharif saved 12 match points.
Oh, did she? On clay, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
Against
this match,
who was the Sharif one against?
Malakova.
Okay. All right. Okay, go on. This match, Fergus.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Stearns in 2. I feel like Stearns has been nice after she came through her round 1 versus Jones. I felt like things kind of settled out for her. The level that she kind of brought in the third set in her, because both Austin and Mérida are awful times for here, so it's the only one I've had an eye on. The courts actually suit her quite nicely if the serve is working. That's a big if. When the serve works, everything seems to flow. When the serve doesn't work, the game's not there. It's as simple as that.
Okay, let's hop on a plane and fly over to
Can
Mexico. Go on. Yes.
That'd be great.
We can. I would love it. I'd love to take us all over to Mexico for a nice little holiday. I don't even know much about Mérida, the town. I don't even know where it is. My geography of Mexico is not too bad. I know Guadalajara, I know Monterrey, I know Acapulco, I know Mexico City, I know the South a little bit as well and the history, but I don't know where Mérida even is. But anyway, I'm gonna have a quick look. But while I see where Mérida in Mexico is, let's talk about Jasmine Paolini, shall we, Mario? Because she is in the semi-final. She was one of the favored players, probably her and Navarro. Navarro, by the way, of course, her ranking is dropping like a stone right now. But let's switch to Jasmine. Go on, Fergus.
Mérida is right on so as Mexico comes around, and then there's it's like a hook. It's right at the tip of the hook. Mérida is a town.
It's on the coast then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, which coast? Pacific coast. It's in Yucatan. Okay. I'm guessing it's on the Pacific coast, but let's have a quick look.
No.
It's on the Atlantic. Okay.
Atlantic. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Yucatan. Yeah. Okay, so it's probably. It's not far from Cancun. Gotcha. Yeah. I know where Cancun as well as I've been there a couple of times. Playa del Carmen, which is really nice, just south of Cancun. But yeah, okay. So it's okay. I see where it is now. Yeah, on the opposite side of Acapulco, because I think Acapulco is on the Pacific coast. Yes, it is. All right. Anyway, that's a bit of geography tick. Jasmine Paolini, Mario.
I mean, her season didn't start that well, but okay, it's still a long year, so I mean, it's not that big of a trouble. This week can be really important for her because, even though it's not that stocked as a tournament, but it's still, a great thing. And today or tonight, I think she showed some great things, meaning that the level was not unbelievable. But after that first set, where she really, was a little bit lost, she had a great reaction. Yeah. So I think this week can really help her. We know that she is somebody who she's a little bit of a streaky player, meaning that she can have 3 or 4 straight tournaments where her results aren't that great and she loses a few matches that, at least according to ranking, she shouldn't lose. But then if she finds her rhythm, her groove, she can, go on a little bit streak, meaning that, she can really improve. I mean, last year, it kind of started the same way, meaning that player was asking themselves, if she could repeat herself. And even though she, didn't in slams, but she did in terms of, being a top player and winning great matches. And so I think that this week can really be an important turning point for her, even though, of course, I repeat, there aren't, top 10, top 20 player that she has to face. But, winning those matches, we know that in tennis, winning matches always helps yourself, because confidence gets bigger, and even when you have to face a fellow top 10 player, the thing is to do it when you're not in a great moment. Another thing is doing it when you're coming off, I don't know, 5 or 6 consecutive wins. It's a totally different story. So I really believe she can. I still consider her the favorite at this point to win the title, even though she hasn't been playing unbelievably well. But we know that she has what it takes in order to win the title.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think that, by the way, what happened there in that Bolter match, that's a bit of a bizarre one, Fergus. Obviously getting bageled in the first set. That seems to be a bit of a theme this year, actually. Get bageled and win the match. Alicia Parks. Also, there was another one in Australia, maybe first or second round.
Yeah, it was
Kazakhina?
No, Siegemund.
Kalinskaya?
No.
Someone got bageled in the first couple
of
rounds.
Probably you're right about Kazakhina. I remember something similar.
Either she got bageled or she bageled someone. I can't remember which way round it was.
There was definitely but
Kazakhina bageled Bartunkova in the first
True.
round.
And she lost.
Then lost the match in 3, 7-6 was the first set, and it was a 9-7 tiebreak, so super tight. And then Kazakhina just arrived in the second set and won at 6-love before then going down in 3 sets. So that must have been a real bizarre match to watch unfold. I don't know what happened in that second set. But yeah, that does seem to be a bit of a theme this year. I think there may be 1 or 2 others I'm missing. Paolini, Buxa, Fergus?
Beware Buxa, the giant.
Beware Buxa, okay.
I remember her playing Sabalenka in Washington in 24. Where she beat Sabalenka, and just the level was just unreal for like 45 minutes, and then she just managed to scrape over the line. I'm not convinced with Paolini.
Okay.
So I'm going Buxa in 3.
Okay, I'm going to go Paolini in straights. Regarding Buxa and being we talked about being streaky, but also in terms of just within a match. I remember her match with Sierra last year at Wimbledon, where there was periods of 20 minutes when she was easily the better player on the court, and then another 20 minutes later it was Sierra, and then it flipped again. So we talked about players being streaky, and I agree with you what you said about Paolini in terms of her results and performances, but sometimes with Buxa it can happen within the same match, in fact within the same hour. So, but I'm going to go with Paolini. I'm actually going to go with Paolini in straight sets. I think you're going for Paolini to win, right, Mario?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. All right. The other semi-final is possibly
amazing.
More
possibly
random.
Match of the year.
All right. Is that sarcasm or is that genuine?
No, it's genuine. I love both players.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Gene, just before we get into this match, I already saw that, Gene, earlier. We mentioned it about 20 minutes ago. Anyway, but fine. Carry on. Sorry, Mario.
No, I love both players, and I think both can play some great tennis. Especially Zhang is a player who I have so many memories of herself playing some unbelievably matches against other top players. I remember a match a few years ago against Coco Gauff at the US Open where I was like, wow, it was such a satisfaction. So, and I think she had that unbelievably bad streak, which was kind of a record of straight losses, but between 23 and 24 it was. But after that, I mean, she has been back playing good tennis, and she's also quite not so young, let's say. So I'm really impressed. But I mean, I have no doubt she's a great player. And I actually consider herself as the favorite tonight against Trek. I really can see herself winning. She's somebody who, she has really great ground strokes, and if she's feeling okay, that was the record.
Yeah.
29 consecutive matches. But I mean, considering between 68 and 72, it was still the beginning of the Open era. I mean, It's still a lot different today. Anyway, I think it's she really can play great tennis. I mean, Freck is really great fighter. Probably Shuai Zhang in 3 sets, really great battle. I think it can deliver.
Yep. What do you think, Fergus?
I think this is quite interesting just because of Zhang's courtcraft that she can bring. She plays a lot of doubles, and that kind of, brings into it. It seems that there are just certain doubles players that seem that, like, whenever they want to, they can kind of just throw down, like, top 20 level just for a laugh. It's like Vasori, like, when he played in Rotterdam last year, and I was like, why doesn't he play more singles? This guy's absolutely nuts. And then he just disappears
by the
again.
way, just to interrupt you, sorry, Fergus. I think Nick might have called this run from Zhang Shuai. I'm just getting flashbacks to WTA Weekly on Sunday, and we were looking at the draw, who's going to win the title, who's the favorite, who's in form, blah, 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 who won it previous years, where's Navarro at, where's Paolini at, etc. And then he just went, keep an eye on Zhang Shuai. Now, I don't think he tipped her to win the title, but he was like, I'm looking forward to seeing how she gets on. So Nick had a feeling in his bones this week about
Nick
Zhang
is the
Shuai.
best.
Nick knows. Nick knows.
Nick knows. That could be a new series. Nick knows.
Nick knows.
No, I'm serious. I always trust him. So
yeah.
But I still think, unfortunately, I'm literally about to counteract.
Me too. I think Freck's winning this.
I think Freck wins this. Yeah, I think Freck wins this. In 3, I'll go Freck.
We'll see tomorrow.
We will see.
You were saying about where Navarro is. Her ranking is like, I mean, she lost first round here, so she's
going to be outside the top 30.
No, she's 25. But it was like someone said something really stupid. It's like it's the first time in 3 years she won't be the top ranked Emma on tour or something.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I
saw that.
I mean, Navarro still had great results in slams last year, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah. Although I did, again, Nick knows definitely, and I bowed to his superior knowledge, especially on WTA. But I did kind of call Navarro slipping this year.
No, I was talking about her ranking right now.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. But in terms of her slipping this year, it was something I forget. I think it was Carson and Brenner did a show looking at WTA top 10 come the year in 2026. And I think both of them maybe gave her an honorable mention. I don't remember if either of them had them in the top.
No, I don't think either of them did.
But I was like, I wouldn't even be giving her an honorable mention. I think she's slipping at the moment. But anyway, that's at the moment seemingly the way it's going. Yes, Fergus?
Also, I knew I wasn't going crazy. Samsonova bageled Siegemund and then won the match. And then Siegemund won.
And then Siegemund won. That was in Australia as well, wasn't it?
That was in Australia as well.
I knew there was
more. Is an absolute queen.
Yes, I agree. Honestly, if Siegemund is involved in a match, it's normally very entertaining.
You always watch. I agree.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to a rematch between her and Coco after their US Open clash a couple of years ago. Her and Coco at the US Open in 20.
Yeah, but give me a French Open round 1 against Sabalenka.
Siegemund Sabalenka French Open, that would be a great watch. I mean, we saw them in the quarterfinals, I think it was at Wimbledon, didn't we? But yeah, round 1, that'd be great. That'd be great because actually Sabalenka and Swiatek have had very serene paths to the second week of slams for about 2 years now. Okay, maybe Swiatek against Osaka is the exception, but particularly Sabalenka anyway, even on the clay of the French Open, she's in the second week and it's no drama. Yeah, let's have her in round 1 against Laura Siegemund. And then I don't know who else would be a really tough matchup.
I know it can be a blowout, but
it could be, but it's more likely to be entertaining than
if I have to think about a player who in a day can give
on that
herself a little trouble. Then she can come to my mind along a few other players.
I remember speaking to Lauda in Berlin of 2023, and she was like saying, "Yeah, grass is not really my thing, basically." And she's obviously in her early 30s at that point, and yet 2 years later, she's in a Wimbledon quarterfinal. So, yeah, she's certainly fun. All right, Fergus, thanks to you, and thanks to you, Mario, as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
And that was our live watch along for Tallon Griekspoor against Daniil Medvedev. Thanks, guys, and speak to you all very soon. I need to set the outro video, and then we're done. Bye-bye.